Hello, everyone. Welcome to Power to the People, brought to you by the Paducah-McCracken County NAACP. I'm your host, Corbin Snardon. So we're happy to have you here at the inaugural show for Power to the People, where we're giving you the information that you need to be successful in life and telling you about the issues that are plaguing Paducah and our area. So today we're doing a series on entrepreneurship, particularly females in entrepreneurship. And today I have here my lovely guest, Miss Lakilia Bedeau.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for being here. So I'm not going to speak too much on your behalf. I want you to be able to tell the people who you are. Can you give us a little bit of a background of yourself?
Absolutely. Lakilia Bedeau. I am so not French. Ended up, I tell people, with a cool first name because my mom was a teenage mom, so she wanted to be different. And then ended up marrying someone from Trinidad and Tobago. So that's how I ended up with the cool last name Bedeau or Bedeau. I am originally from a super small town in southeast Missouri by the name of Lilburn. And if you've not heard of that, New Madrid, I'm sure we're famous for the fault. That's where I'm originally from, the oldest of 7, and that's a little sneak preview.
A little sneak preview.
Little sneak preview.
Well, awesome. So you're from New Madrid and definitely doing moving and shaking here in Paducah, yes, along with the fault line. So thinking in that same vein, so how did you come to end up in Paducah?
That's a good question. So last minute decision to attend Murray State University because I was the first in my immediate family to attend college, oldest of the 7 siblings. My dad felt Tuskegee was too far away. I know. I wouldn't have a student loan today, but it's okay. So ended up attending Murray State University at the last minute. That's where I met my husband-to-be, Chawali, and after I finished up my grad work, he's like, I feel like God wants us to be in Paducah. And I'm like, are you crazy? Like, I'm supposed to be working for ESPN. So I tell people he ended up talking with Pastor Walton, and it was like them against me. So I was outnumbered, and so that's how I ended up here. But you know what? It's all about growing where you're planted. So I just took advantage of the opportunities that I saw existed in those niches, and that is how I ended up in Paducah.
Well, awesome. So,
yes.
And what do you do now currently? So what is your place of employment? What is your day-to-day
Awesome.
operation? So
my 9 to 5, so to speak, although those aren't the hours when you're working in the school system, but it just sounds good. My 9 to 5 is I'm the director of Tornado Alley Youth Services Center, which is a part of the Frisk family, which came about because of Kara. We help students and families. I actually say we empower students and families by removing those non-academic barriers that they face. And that ranges from mental health to family crisis to hygiene items to school supplies. So on some days I feel like Oprah, other days Dr. Phil, a therapist, and I have to remind the students, I am not a professional therapist. I'm a professional, but not a professional therapist. So that is my 9 to 5, so to speak. And then in my spare time, I am the founder and president of Be Dynamic Inc., which we're here to talk more about today.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So let's get into the real meat and potatoes. Be Dynamic Inc. What is it? What does it do?
Okay, so let me give you the backstory of the logo because I think they'll have an opportunity to check that out because you probably look at it, it's simple, and you're like, red glasses? What? So in the 2nd grade, and what many people don't know is I ended up, my brother and I being raised by my grandmother. Mom and dad divorced, and so we ended up with my dad's mom, and everything happens for a reason. I don't even ended up with big red glasses. So in the 2nd grade, ended up with these huge red glasses, caused my life to be like a living you know what. Fast forward, it actually serves as the logo of my company, Be Dynamic Inc. We simply want clients, students, parents alike to be the best version of self. Don't try to be like Mr. Snardon. Don't try to be like Miss Bedeau. Although we are pretty cool role models, be the best version of you. And so we simply want to help, once again, not only the youth, but adults with those essential life skills that they need to be successful in life. And once again, the glasses serve as a reminder of what I've overcome, right? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So the glasses serve as a logo because we want people to not only be them, but be you with a vision. And glasses symbolize vision And so there you have it.
Oh, wow. So
Be you with a vision.
Be you with a vision.
Yes.
That is a fantastic motto or slogan to go with
Yes.
it. So going with that theme of be you with a vision. So where did this vision for Be Dynamic come from? How did it start?
Okay. And for those who think I just woke up last spring and was like, you know what, I'm bored. I have nothing to do. Let me just start a business. Absolutely wrong. I am a firm believer in vision boards. And so this has been on my vision board actually for the past 5 years, but it's all about timing. So it came about because I serve on numerous committees locally, nationally, and I simply got tired of hearing of the influential people, the business leaders, community leaders talking about the soft skills that our students lack when they're transitioning from high school to the adult world, the real world. I gotta take that personal. I took that personal as an educator because not that I'm in the classroom, but teachers don't have a great deal of time to focus on those soft skills. So it takes us as a community coming together to ensure that they have those skills and coming up with programming. So here I am sitting on the sidelines waiting for someone to come up with this brilliant program so I can just join another committee, right? Well, a year went by, 2 years went by, 3 years, and nothing. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something about it. So that's when I launched Be Dynamic Inc. last spring of 2018. And we kicked it off with an inaugural youth summit, Life Skills 101, which you were part of, along with a lot of awesome local professionals, because I can't do this alone. It's not about me. It's about, once again, making sure that our students are equipped to take on the real world. And so that's how it came about, just me attending meetings and hearing about, once again, employers saying how students and also adults lack certain soft skills. And so that is what my company does.
Oh, well, fantastic. And it's doing a fantastic job. The Youth Summit was a fantastic thing. Yes. I know many children and adults benefited from the things that went on there. Yes. Now, you mentioned soft skills, that employers are looking for future employees to have those soft skills and the things that they need in their businesses. Right. But for those who don't know what soft skills are, what do you mean? What are those soft skills
that we're looking for? That's a good question. Soft skills are, I think they're trying to transition to essential skills. Basically your time management, your budgeting, your communication, that is a huge one. Communication skills, especially interpersonal skills. Technology is great, but it has simply made it more difficult when it comes to face-to-face communication, especially when it comes to our youth. Showing up to work on time, right? Just not necessarily dressing to impress, but you need to look the part. If you are going to a parent-teacher conference, you are not gonna go, even though some do, because they don't know, right? And so we're here to empower them, give them that knowledge, but you don't roll up into the school with, you know, your pajamas on and your bonnet. I know, you know, there are barriers that, you know, you have families who have barriers that they face, transportation, but we just want to empower them and say, you know what, I get it. It took you a while to book that transportation, but let's kind of worry about that outer appearance, because first impression is everything, even if it's just that parent-teacher conference. It
is. And so from even the smallest level to the biggest level, you know, those soft skills are definitely needed. Yes. Do you find that, obviously the children need it as well, but are you offering services for adults as also?
Yes, absolutely. And on our Facebook page, Be Dynamic Inc., it's no fancy, you know, lingo, it's just simply Be Dynamic Inc. You can reach out to us and let us know if your nonprofit, if your church, if your business simply needs a program catered to your specific needs. And at the moment, it's Givers Gain. So we are simply trying to give back.
So what services are you providing? I know that you said you did a youth summit last year, but what are some of the things that we can expect to see from Be Dynamic in 2019?
Awesome. Oh my gosh. The question should be, what can you not expect to see? No, I'm just saying.
I like that. I like that.
We have so much lined up. I mean, it'll take more than the time that you have. I know you want to do lunch and all that good stuff. So, but what we're focusing on, once again, that tagline, be you with a vision. So we're specializing in pop-up vision boards. We've had held several at the McCracken County Library, super successful. And once again, we are willing to come to your location, to your church, to your nonprofit. If you want to do a girls' night out, we got you. So right now, the new year, I don't believe in resolutions, right? I believe in making it a lifestyle, right? I don't want to just start out the first week of the year with all these goals and plans, and then it's like by the 17th or so, you're like, I'm not going to make it happen. I believe in making it a lifestyle. So we are here January, March, November to help you with those goals, because as you know, you have short-term goals and long-term goals. So right now, the beginning of the year, we're focusing on vision board parties. That's what we really specialize in, helping people come up with a game plan for their life. And then also we're going to do, of course, education workshops that fast for the scholarship searches, the college visits when it comes to the youth. So right now, short answer, vision board parties. That's what we're focusing on.
So awesome. Vision boards are such a key thing. I know that you say be you with a vision. One of my mentors, I'm not a preacher by any means, but one of my mentors would always say and quote a scripture from the Bible that said, write the vision and make it plain.
There you go.
And so it's so important to put those visions down. But a vision board, so is this kind of a little arts and craftsy thing? Is this, how are these vision boards constructed? What could we expect to see on a vision board?
Okay, so once again, first off, there is not a wrong way to do a vision board. You have those that want to get the glue sticks out and the glitter and the stickers, but then you have those like, I don't have time for no scissors and cutting. It's okay, because right now we have been doing two options, and you get to choose. So once you show up, we have all the materials, the magazines, the stickers, the glue sticks, the scissors. Or you can simply do where you chart it out, you pick 5 categories, and then you're gonna do it 3 months at a time. So if you want health as a category, you want school or education, career, miscellaneous, and you're gonna chart those out, and then just try to get those gains every 3 months, right? So you have your short-term goals and your long-term goals. And so yes, it is art therapy for some. I actually had a lady last week, she was like, oh my gosh, I normally can't sit still for, a couple of seconds, but this was like therapy. When's the next one? It needs to be longer, right? So it is artsy, creative, but for those STEM people, we got you. You just pick a couple categories, get you some pretty markers or not, plain pen, and chart your goals out.
Oh, well, I think that's awesome. And being able to write that vision down, again, it's so critical and so important. Absolutely. Because when you see it, you're more likely to practice it and work it out. I'm like you, I don't do the New Year's resolution things.
Right.
I'm much more about action and getting the job done.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Switching gears in the conversation just a little bit. So you had this vision to start Be Dynamic, and it seems to be taking off and doing quite well. Have you experienced any challenges, per se, in trying to get things off the ground? Did you have any difficulties in trying to get up and running? Was there support? Was there backing from it?
That is an awesome question. So I start off, I'm not the most religious or spiritual person, okay? I just put that disclaimer out there. You're not about to hear me quoting no Bible scriptures, although, I believe. So I would say the hurdles in the beginning, it was spiritual, doubt. Like, really? You're not from here. You're a transplant. And no doubt, I can do anything I put my mind to, but it's like, I'm not from here. I'm not a local. Are they going to back me? And then it was like, who cares? You're walking in your purpose. And when what God has for you is for you. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not going to wait. So my hurdles, I would say, was spiritual, and it was me. It wasn't any outsider hating or saying, oh, she's not qualified. And then on the flip side, people are like, oh my gosh, this is needed. And I'm like, I know, and it's not like rocket science, and it's nothing new. However, it's just me doing it, and I don't think anybody can do it like me. I'm just saying, But I've had so much support from people just saying, if you need a sponsor, sorry, got something in my eye. If you need a sponsor, let me know, because at the moment it's simply Giver's Gain coming out of, my pocket and, doing the whole write-off thing. But I have businesses and community leaders saying, hey, if you need a sponsor for a specific youth group or a specific night, I believe in this mission. I believe in you. So let us know how we can help. Now, it has been outpouring. Like the support has just been overwhelming, actually. It's been awesome.
So glad to see that Be Dynamic is getting the support that it needs
Yes.
to do the work that it's
Yes.
doing. And I love how you mentioned that, in the beginning you had that initial doubt of whether or not,
Right.
oh, can I do this? Are people going to be supportive? For especially kids, which you and I both deal with on a daily
Yes.
basis.
Yes.
I see that question come up a lot.
Right.
Can I do this? Can I
Right.
go and do this? What was really the push that actually got you past that doubt?
Okay, and so once again, I am the type of person, if I make my mind up to do it, I'm gonna rock it out. And I give 150% at all that I do. Seriously, anyone that knows me personally will tell you I don't halfway do anything. That's just not how I roll. So how or when I got past the doubt was, I would say that after that first vision board party, and then just hearing the reactions of the participants, it was just something so amazing, which it was. But it's to hear, I guess, the testimonials and how they've been wanting to do this, or they didn't know how to go about doing that, and just seeing the impact that it was making in that short period of time. That is when I was like, yep, this is it.
That confirmation of knowing
Yeah,
that I did
it's
the right
this
thing.
is it. And then in addition to people calling and sending messages wanting me to book with their organization or come speak to their organization, it's pretty amazing.
Oh, that is
Pretty
absolutely
amazing.
fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So I want to also touch on the fact that you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You've started your own business.
Yes.
In a time where people are like, well, how do I do this, or how
Right.
can I do this? In a time where people are spinning their wheels trying to figure
Right.
out what they want to do next with their
Right.
life, you just jumped out there in the open and did it.
Yes.
As an African American woman, did you find that learning this process or opening your own business, starting your own business, did you find that to be super challenging? Is it something that you were able to just easily do? Did you know how to do everything before? Was it a learning curve? Was there anything like that on that?
All right, good question. So as an African American entrepreneur, I would say it was probably more challenging than it would have been for another race, right? Because I don't necessarily have the connections here in Paducah. Okay, but because I am a lifelong learner and I believe in research, and once again, this wasn't something that I just dreamt of, last week. It was something that I had been doing and researching for a while now. So the process for me, honestly, was pretty smooth. It was just making up in my mind that, you know what, you're going to get off the sideline and you're going to do something about it. So that way, when you go to that chamber meeting, when you go to that NEA meeting, you can say, well, guess what? This is what we're doing in Paducah, instead of, let's brainstorm some more and let's talk about how they're lacking in this area and that area. I will actually have a solution to the problem. So
wonderful. You're taking that adage of nothing ventured, nothing gained
Right.
very serious.
Yes.
And so I love that, and I have so much respect in the regard that I have this idea, I see a need in the
Yes.
community, I'm going to meet it, I'm going to go and do it.
Yes.
What would you say to the young girl that aspires to do something, open their own business, go out and venture into the deep? What would you say to them? Or a better question would be, go back to 12-year-old self with the red glasses.
Woo!
What would you say to 12-year-old you to encourage her?
I would say, first off, you have to love you. You have to love you, and you're probably like, what does love have to do with it, right? It has everything to do with it. Because if you don't love yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect others to? Right. And of course, your parents are going to always believe in you, and Paw and Nana. But if you don't believe in yourself, it's going to be very difficult to overcome the voices in your head, and you don't even have to have naysayers. Your own thoughts will overtake you, right? Mm-hmm. So I would say to my 12-year-old self, be you, continue to have that vision, continue to have that confidence that you can do and be anything that you want to be. And then, of course, write it down. It's okay to dream. Everybody can dream, and I'm pretty sure everybody dreams. But then it's the next level when you write that down, it becomes a vision and an action plan. So I would say, don't just sit and daydream in class. Work on your confidence, be confident, self-esteem is everything. And sidebar, what I tell students that I work with, high school students, is, you know what, you're less likely to make certain mistakes when your self-esteem is where it needs to be. So make sure you love yourself. Confidence is where it needs to be, because then that is going to give you the encouragement and the power needed to go into uncharted waters, to go and open that business when you have your family members saying, are you crazy? What are you doing? You can't do it. Yes, you can.
Awesome.
Absolutely, you can do it.
So with the short little time that we have left, I kind of want to mention just briefly, because I know that you can't get from point A to point B without experiencing a little disappointment, without experiencing a little bit of failure. Obviously, you've overcome that and you continue to power on, but how do you deal with failure? How do you deal with those setbacks?
Okay, good question. So, you know, being raised in a single parent home in itself, I feel was a setback, because it's nothing like a two-parent home. Of course, they can still be dysfunctional, but I'm just saying, you know, you got a little head start. So what I tell students is those strikes that you have no control over, use that to motivate you. And so that's what I've done all my life. The strikes, the teenage mom, the single parent home. I tell people being raised with a God-fearing grandmother is totally different than just being raised in a single parent home with a grandmother or a mom or a dad. It's like a totally different level, but we don't have time to go there. So I would simply say that in order to overcome that, well, what I did to overcome that adversity is reading and listening to motivational speakers, honestly, and hearing their stories and how failure is simply a part of the process. It's just a part of the process.
Yeah, I think too often we see people that when they're met with failure, they just stop doing what they're doing. But the important thing is to really push through that. But I love the fact that you say you read and you listen to motivational speakers. That kind of enrichment is so important. So who does Lakilia Bedeau listen to? Who does she read?
I love and I want to say that I would rather listen than read. Okay, so I would say Eric Thomas is one of my favorite motivational speakers, also known as a hip hop. You got it. Yeah. Les Brown is awesome. I love Lisa Nichols. It's just so many, and of course Oprah. All of her books. And the thing about reading, it doesn't necessarily have to be a book. It can simply be a magazine with key articles. So Oprah's magazine has been super inspirational, and she, just being her, has played a huge role, a big part in my life. And she was actually my role model growing up, and why I wanted to be a journalist. But
well, that was going to be one of my questions. Like, who is your shero or your hero?
I would say Oprah. I know everybody's like, right, everybody likes Oprah, but I mean, she came from all of this adversity and just blocked out the naysayers, used her strikes to elevate her and motivate her. So definitely Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, you mentioned something about being a journalist at one point in time. So is that still a passion that you have, or is that something that it was a dream when I was a girl and now it's kind of evolved into something else?
You know, now with two boys, I think I'll just end up maybe being their sideline reporter, or who knows, their sports agent. But as far as actually being out on the field, on the court, interviewing with a family, that's difficult. Journalists, their schedule. So absolutely. That's no longer a dream, but it's all good. I have two boys that will maybe end up on the court or field one day, and mommy will be their sideline reporting.
All right, so we've talked about Be Dynamic and its offerings, and we've talked about how it's Be You with a vision and just how everything got started with it. Just remind everybody once again, so that Be Dynamic, so that they understand what they do and what they are and who you are.
Right. So first off, I want to say that even if you're from that small town with 1,100 people, don't let anyone tell you that you cannot do and make a difference. And you don't have to wait until you're wealthy to do that. So once again, it is a service that we're here to help clients, customers be the best version of self, helping them come up with a game plan for their life and simply be them with a vision. And at the moment, once again, Givers Gain, just helping nonprofits, churches come up with their vision board workshop. We're here to assist and help you. So just be you with a vision.
Awesome, everybody. Be You with a Vision. So again, we want to thank Ms. Lakilia Bedeau,
thank you so much.
The owner and operator of Be Dynamic, for being here today. Once again, I am your host, Corbin Snardon, with the Paducah-McCracken County NAACP. Make sure to keep up with NAACP on Facebook at Paducah NAACP. And so make sure you follow us and catch us on YouTube as well.